Hello everybody, I'm your brother 9, and welcome back to Let's Play Pokemon Fire Red. In the last episode, we headed out from Pewter City towards Mount Moon. We went across routes 3 and 4, which 4 really wasn't much of anything. We've caught a couple of Pokemon, we fought a couple of trainers, which I went back through the routes, and fought all the other trainers in between episodes. And now, James Pond is a healthy level 19, and he got a new move in Bite, which is a Dark-type move with power 60, and it has, I think, a 15% chance to make the foe flinch, which means that if I attack first, the Pokemon on the other side flinches. That means that they don't do anything for that turn. That means that they do not make a move, which is pretty great, honestly. The move itself is kind of ridiculously good this early in the game, which I'm all fan of. And in this episode, we are heading through Mount Moon. Oh man. It's our first instance of a cave, and what we're going to be doing with this cave is what you should do in every cave ever, and that is be using repels, because every single panel, every single square, every single sprite, whatever you want to call it, every step that you can take is a step that is like grass, in which you can encounter Pokemon, and you are probably going to encounter Pokemon called Zubat, because Zubat is incredibly abundant, which we have not talked about Zubat yet, but I think I'm going to leave the all the talk about the bios, because there are quite a few encounters. I think there are 4 new encounters, and there's a 5th Pokemon that I kind of mentioned last episode that I wanted to talk about. However, we're going to leave that for a little later, because I don't want to start this episode off so early with a whole bunch of bios, and because we're not even going to be encountering most of the Pokemon so early right now, because I'm going to be using these repels all over the place. Oh man, he turns, and I got caught by him. Wow, I expected him. I was going to read him, and I didn't. Sneak up on you? I didn't sneak up on you. Snuck up on me, man. What are you talking about, Super Nerd Joven? He's got a Magnemite. That's cool. I did not know we could have Magnemites. It's not as cool as I'd like it to be, because Magnemite is electric. Steel and electric is super effective to water, and water is not very effective to steel and electric, I think. Maybe not just... No, it didn't make a difference. It's normally effective to both of them. Cool. I'm all down for that. I know Bite's not very effective. However, I don't want to use my water gun. I want to conserve water guns, because we will be using James Pond all over the place in here, because he's the only member on our team. We do have 5 other people here, but Pokemon, I guess, but not ones that we want to use. Also, this is a Voltorb, one of the fastest Pokemon in the game, and it's an electric type, and it is floating above the ground, which is kind of ridiculous. Those Gen 3 sprites, though, and it crits! I'm pretty sure that was pointless, though. However, we did get to a nice level 20. We are a bit over-leveled, just a bit, which is okay, because we only have 1 Pokemon. When we get our second Pokemon, things will slow down. We won't be so over-leveled with this one, but until we get to that point, we're just gonna have to deal with being super, super freaking strong, which is alright by me. And we just got a rare candy, which is a great item. It is candy that is packed with energy. It somehow raises the level of a Pokemon by 1. Please don't use this when your Pokemon has like 3 experience left to get to their next level, because you're pretty much wasting your time, because it just takes it to the next level. It doesn't consider experience that you've already gained on that level, any percentages or any of that kind of stuff. The game does not care about that. You look like you were a trainer. At first I didn't think you were, because you were staring at a rock, but you might be a trainer, so I think I'm going to leave you be. And Repel's effect wore off, which is great. We only have 3 left. Man, we've already taken 200 steps in this mountain. I guess, yeah, in this mountain. I was going to say in this Mount Moon, but really it's a mountain. There's also a little bit of a ladder earlier that we could drop down, but I think this is the one that we want to go to. Sure, why not? There's a nice item up here. TM46, it contains Thief. And there is a trainer that we will fight. He's not required. We're pulling a big job here. Get lost, kid! It is our first encounter with Team Rocket. Team Rocket Grunt, specifically. He has a Zubat. Nice. We can take out Zubat. That's that Pokemon I was talking about earlier. Team Rocket's, the reason I'm fighting this Team Rocket member, even though you can clearly see that he is not required for me to fight, so, like, I shouldn't have to fight him to waste my time or anything. However, I believe that after you get through the rest of this area... Hey, look! A new Pokemon! It's Ekans! And it's got Intimidate, which cuts my attack in half. It is a poison type, which it is snake backwards. I'm pretty sure by the time that you get through Mount Moon, all the Team Rocket grunts that are in here will leave the area. So I'm gonna try and fight all of them if I can. And I guess I'll be showing it on screen because I mean that's clearly what I'm doing right here. And they're kind of important story battles, so I don't feel too bad about doing so. And clearly this was not the way to go. Yo, I can sneak right around this little youngster. I believe he's a youngster. There's also a hiker right there. Man, we're just sneaking by everybody right now. Hey, we found a Moonstone! This was that item that I was talking about last episode that could evolve 3 different Pokemon. It can evolve for the last evolution of Nidoran male and female, and it also evolves the Jigglypuff into Wigglytuff, and there is one other Pokemon that it evolves, which I guess we can get into. We will get into the new encounters in Mount Moon. Yeah, might as well start doing it now. So first off, what should our first encounter be? First off, we have, I guess we'll go with Zubat, the most common Pokemon in the world. Not really, but it's a really common Pokemon because it's caves and stuff. Zubat is nothing really special in Generation 1. However, Generation 2 and on, it gets a new evolution by the name of Crobat, and it gets crazy. It gets fantastic speed, pretty decent attack, which makes it a physical sweeper, and it's even got pretty nice typing. It is actually a pretty solid choice, honestly. A lot of people don't like Zubat and harp on Zubat for just being a super annoying common Pokemon that you meet in caves all the time. But Zubat's a really decent Pokemon to have on your team. The physical sweeping abilities of it are crazy. I think it gets even better in later generations because of the physical special split that we'll have in Generation 4. But it's still really good. The last thing that's interesting about it is that is a new kind of evolution introduced in Gen 2, which is a happiness evolution. Your Pokemon has a happiness kind of stat that you can't see anywhere in game. There is a person that will tell you how happy your Pokemon feels towards you, and it can go from anywhere from I think 0 to 255, and it affects a few things in the game, like a couple moves, and one thing specifically, this new evolution, which is Golbat into Crobat, which is interesting because that means it can evolve at pretty much any level. As long as you have a Golbat, you can evolve it whenever you want. As long as you have a level left. If you have a level 100 Golbat, you can no longer evolve it because you're out of levels. Next up, we have Paris. Paris has pretty good attack, but it has horrible speed, and the rest of its stats aren't that great either. And what's even worse is that it has a horrible typing, where it is 4 times weak to both fire and flying. Charizards completely decimate Paris, which is just so gross. It gets outclassed all over the place by both bug and grass Pokemon, so like it's just really not that great. The best option for it is probably status inflicting moves, because it does get some of those nice status moves that we talked about earlier, or I guess last episode, that was good for catching, but really it's not that great whatsoever. Nothing good there. Now next up, we have Geodude. Geodude has ridiculous defense. Do you see that defense? That's crazy. And it has pretty good attack, but it's really slow. I mean, it is a rock Pokemon, and it is a prime user of the move Earthquake, mainly because it gets it by level up, I believe. And, well, Gen 1, like, everyone used Earthquake in Generation 1. I mean, that's what you did. And Geodude was very well known for using Earthquake. And it's got pretty good type defenses, except for, you know, being weak to Earthquake and, you know, water, grass, and ice. But otherwise, it's doesn't have anything to do with being rock. It just has a bunch of things that are not very effective to it, which is pretty cool. And it was considered to be one of the best Pokemon in Generation 1, but it's got a little bit of a downfall since then. An interesting thing about Geodude that is new is it's a new type of evolution, and that is that when you get a Graveler, if you trade it to another trainer, you will actually get it will evolve at that point. It is a trade evolution, which is something that they were trying to encourage. That's the whole reason we have two different versions of each generation, so that encouraged trading with people and evolutions to do so you're like forced to have friends or forced to buy 2 Game Boys and 2 versions of the game if you want to get all the Pokemon. Now there is one other Pokemon to encounter here in Mount Moon, however, we are at nearly the end of Mount Moon, I believe, and so I will leave that for in a second because we have this guy right here. Hey, stop! I found these fossils. They're both mine. And it's Super Nerd Miguel would like to battle. He sent out Grimer. And we sent out James Pond. Grimer is a poison type that's pretty defensive, so I think we'll be fine for the most part. He's going to up his defenses even more, but we're using some of those water moves, so we'll be just fine. No worries, guys. Next up, we have a Voltorb. We've seen Voltorb before. We're not going to worry about that whatsoever. Oh man, I was really hoping for an Oko. He's gonna charge. Okay, that's good. I'm glad he charged. I don't know if he has an electric move, but if he did, it would have been super effective, and that kind of would have been bad, maybe. I don't think we've been taken out because we kind of are over-leveled. But he's just charging, which just, I think it will just make his next moves good, so that's fine that we didn't have to worry about that. What's his last Pokemon? Coughing! Another poison type, another defensive poison type. That is pretty fantastic. An interesting thing about Coughing is that that skull and crossbones on its belly was actually flipped upside down in Generation 1. The sprite was actually mixed up, and they've switched it around ever since then, which I think is hilarious. We have beat Super Nerd Miguel! We'll each take a fossil. No being greedy. Oh man, we have 2 fossils. Which one do we want? Okay, well, I got in a fight. Alright, as I was trying to say, we have 2 fossils here. These fossils you can eventually turn into Pokemon later on in the game. They're kind of really important. I won't be going over what those Pokemon are right now. Alright, cool. Well, you know what? I will be trying to do things. Alright, maybe I shouldn't be moving when I'm trying to explain things here. These fossils can eventually be turned on into Pokemon later in the game. However, I'm not going to be going over their bios right now. There's no need to. Really, the Dome fossils on the left, the Helix fossils on the right, they both come out to be the same typing of water rock. Their stats are pretty similar, and I think the Dome fossil turns to be more physical oriented, where the Helix fossil turns to be more defense-oriented. I personally prefer the Dome fossil because I think it looks cooler, so I'm going to be grabbing that one right now. Yeah, Dome fossil. And since this guy decided to share him with us, he's going to take the other fossil. How kind of you, scientist. For far away on Sirby Island, there's a Pokemon lab. They do research on regenerating fossils, and that's where we will be going to find the new... Okay, well, you know what? That's fine. We need to be catching Pokemon anyways, so let's start doing that right here, right now. I think I'm just gonna throw a Pokeball at this bad boy. Hopefully it's enough to catch him. I mean, he is at full health, but maybe? Oh, yeah. We got ourselves a Zubat. What are we gonna call this thing? Alright, it has no eyes. Instead, it relies on its ultrasonic cries for echolocation to flit about in darkness. I like how they have to say flit about. That's cute. Alright, we're gonna call this thing... We're gonna call this thing Swoobat. Because there's a Pokemon in later generations called Swoobat. That's really just a different kind of Zubat, kind of-ish. We do have other Pokemon to catch in here, however, we have an antidote. That's cool. Alright, I'm down with that. Oh man, we're just gonna keep going up and up. And I think this takes us out onto the other side of Route 4, which is awesome. We will be heading towards the next city. We will actually, you know what, I'll do that right now. Why not? There are two bros up there. Let's go talk to these two bros real quick. Yo, guys, how you doing? A punch of roaring ferocity, packed with destructive power. When the chips are down, Mega Punch is the ultimate attack. You agree, yes? Now, let me teach it to your Pokemon. This guy will offer to teach you a Mega Punch. It will only teach it one time. James Pond can take it, but we don't care about James Pond having it, so we're actually not going to learn it. I'm sorry, you'll be back when you understand the worth of Mega Punch. Now, the better of the two moves, I believe, is a kick of brutal ferocity, packed with destructive power. When you get right down to it, Mega Kick is the ultimate attack. Don't you agree? Okay, I'll teach it to your Pokemon. This move can be learned only once, is that okay? Alright, which Pokemon wants to learn it? Yo, James Pond can learn both Mega Punch and Mega Kick. How great is that? However, James Pond's not going to be learning either of them. They are decent moves, but you can only learn them one time. And I definitely don't want to do that right now. Now, as for Route 4, there's really not much else, because this is the second half. Hey, TM05 Roar! Roar, Route 4, as for Route 4, Roar? Alright, there's a lot of rhyming going on right here, and that's kind of ridiculous. Roar will cause a Pokemon to switch out if you use it. If you're in a wild battle, the wild battle will finish. So it's kind of decent. It's not really too much of a battle thing. It can have some pretty decent mechanics, actually. There are some sets that will have Roar be used, but really not much else. Alright, you see these two little hops down here? Do not hop down these hops unless you want to not come back to Mount Moon for a little bit of time. I'm not going to be doing that because I need to go back in Mount Moon. I need to go catch a bunch of Pokemon. I need to go fight a bunch of other trainers that were in there, and I will be doing that between this episode and the next episode because I believe that is enough for this episode. We went through all of Mount Moon, which is fantastic, and we got to the end of Route 4 as well. There are, I believe, new Pokemon to catch here in Route 4, but we won't be talking about them just now. It's down there in that grass. We will leave that for another episode. In this case, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please click that like button. Remember, you can always click subscribe if you want to stay updated on the series and other stuff coming out from me. I hope I will see you in the next episode. It will be a good one. I am pretty positive of that because there is a city, like, right there. And it's one of my favorite cities. And I hope that you're having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.